Hello YouTube. I thought it's been a while since I've talked with you, and just been a lot going on, and both here and everywhere else too, so it's just been kind of wild, but the garden's been going fairly well. We've been picking beans and peas and blanching them and then freezing them, and then we've been getting some tomatoes out of the garden, but not a lot and such, but it's been going fairly well. Been up in the mountains a good bit doing some construction work, so that's been a pretty busy time. But I did have a chance to go for a little walk today, and on my way out of the house I saw something that was pretty neat. I saw one of the big tomato hornworms that eats up our tomato plants. And if y'all have tomatoes, I'm sure you've seen them, because you'll go out to your garden and all of a sudden you'll see stems with no leaves on them, and the tomato hornworm has eaten off everything. And I noticed them because of the stems without leaves, but also one of the nice tomatoes that I was going to pick had some chewing out of the side of it where the hornworm had chewed it. But on closer examination, I looked at and I found 3 hornworms on the plant. One of them was really big and had the one that had just eaten the tomato. And the other ones, one of them was fairly small, but another one had something on it which was really, really neat. And this one, I took the other 2 off and squished them. But the one that had, it had white egg cases, or actually little cases sticking off of it. And the white cases are actually for a parasitic wasp. And the wasp lays its eggs on the hornworm, and then the larvae of the wasp will end up going into the hornworm and eating the hornworm from the inside out. And it's really, really a neat sort of thing. So I left that one on the tomatoes, and I'll show you a picture of this. And but it was pretty neat, because hopefully the wasp will reproduce and then infect future hornworms. So that was kind of a neat thing. But I went ahead and went for a walk, and on my walk I saw 2 really interesting things. One was the persimmons that we had seen earlier in the year are starting to get ripe, and you can see where the deer have been eating the lower branch persimmons. So there are not too many of those, but there were a couple on the ground that I picked up, so I'll show you those. But also, as I was walking around the pond, I saw where the muskrats had been coming out of the pond and grazing on the grass around the pond. And it was kind of interesting, because as I was mowing the little path around the pond the other day with the tractor, one of the rear wheels actually sunk into one of the muskrat holes, and probably closed it off from down below. But they hollowed it back out and did a place in the hole that actually came up in the pasture. And so it was kind of interesting to see. The muskrats are eating the grass out in the field, but they're also grazing on the cattails and eating the cattail roots. I've seen the muskrat a few times. I'm not sure exactly how many are there, but it's more than one. But I've seen one there, and it's usually early morning or late, almost at dusk. But it was kind of a neat thing to see. A lot of people will trap them out of their ponds, because they end up eating holes in your dam and can cause some damage that way. And then otherwise they can have holes in the field, and this is where one of them had a hole that was right near the edge of the pond. But if cattle or horses or whatever are going along, they could step in one of the holes and maybe break a leg if they're running and such. So a lot of people will trap them out of the pond, and but they aren't harming too much right now, and the dam's fairly stable. But they do have, it looks like a den over near the spillway, or maybe on the end of the pond. Well, I hope you enjoyed a little walk today and talk about some of the garden stuff. I do hope you get a chance to get outside and enjoy being out there. So many times we get cooped up and stuck to the news and such like that. So just for your own, and definitely for my mental health, that was necessary to just take a walk out and just take a deep breath and enjoy being outside. So y'all take care. Have a good week. Get outside some. Bye-bye.